All right, so it's 11 a.m. sharp, and I see that already people are connecting. That's great. So, at the beginning, we prepared for this onboarding webinar a short exercise to also allow people to connect to this webinar. So, the exercise is about networking because Capacity4dev is collaborative platform where our community can collaborate together in the different spaces. But about this, I will speak a bit later. So at the beginning, I would like to hear more about you and what you are doing so that we can navigate the webinar to the right direction. So how does it work? You just unmute yourself. You can also open your camera if you want, but not necessary. And then you introduce yourself. So, for example, my name is Marisa Metsnikova. I am the business project manager at Capacity4dev. And then you can tell us more about your project, what you are doing, in what country. And also, you can share with us your expectations from this webinar. So then we can navigate it toward your needs. So, for example, for me, the expectation is to provide effective support to our users, which means to you. And I would now like to give a floor to you as our community. I already see that some people open the camera. That's great. So you can just unmute yourself or raise your hand here in the meeting. I see that the first right hand is Zero, if I pronounce your name well. If not, then you can correct me. You are muted. Just if you can unmute yourself.
It's a Spanish name, so you pronounce it well. That's Ciro.
Okay.
I'm senior program manager. All my life I've been working as facilitator, business facilitator, investments facilitator, research and innovation, projects facilitator in Asia, Middle East, Europe, Latin America. Now I'm working with the global unit at SIDA, and expectation is to meet you, colleagues working on the same issues, trying to find out what can more be done together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. And you are at the right place because taking into consideration all of your experiences from Asia, from Middle East, this is exactly the purpose of Capacity for Dev. So we will be speaking about it more. So thank you so much for introducing yourself. Who would like to go next? I see, for example, Eric Ponsart.
Yes, hello, good morning. Thanks for the organizing also that's a quick tour de table to get motivated and to as an icebreaker. So my name is Eric Ponsard. I am a project manager at INSPA, focused on forced displacements. So I work on Unit A4, which is in the East Africa, the Horn, and Central Africa. Yes, there are so many lessons learned from our current European Union Emergency Trust Fund that needs which legacy needs also to be ensured. And not knowing that much the tool of Capacity4dev, I'm very happy to see how to join efforts and make the best use out of that platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And indeed, Capacity for Dev is about lessons learned. So you can find many of the content on the different on the different missions, and to learn more about what development professionals are doing. Also, Capacity for Dev is actually DG International Partnership Platform. So we will dive deeper into what it has for us as development professionals. So thank you so much for sharing, Eric. And who else would like to introduce themselves to our community? Yes, Jackie?
Good morning. My name is Jackie Hoff. I am the director for the Church Alliance for Orphans. I am happy to be part of this onboarding webinar. As we are preparing for an EU proposal that is due, I wanted to access capacity for development your monitoring and evaluation tools, and this is where I came across this. I'm happy to be part of this webinar, and I hope I can learn from you as the experts and hear and also more on capacity for development. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jackie. And yeah, we are also happy to have you here during our webinar. So it's a two-sided excitement. So thank you for introducing yourself. And the next one is Paul.
Hello, morning. My name is Paul Silai Tendeng. I'm from Senegal and working in West Africa. Right now, I work in ICN in the project funded by EU. And my expectation is to be a consultant, to work alone and to find opportunities for work. And yeah, this platform is very important and for me to know what is happening and what people are doing about. I'm very happy to be part of this network and yeah, to learn about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. And indeed, we have recently launched a new initiative which is called Job Opportunities on Capacity for Dev, because development professionals are also, for example, seeking their new mission, but there are also projects that are seeking for the new talents. So this is the main purpose, one of our groups that we recently launched. So I am also happy to then introduce it to you if you don't know about it yet. So, and the next one is Gordon. If you are speaking, we don't hear you. Maybe the microphone needs a bit of tweak on your side. So in the meantime, maybe Amaya, I see that you have camera open.
Good morning. My name is Amaya. It's the first time for me here. My expectation is I have a lot of curiosity about how this platform could work. And my background is a bit hybrid. I am a consultant. I'm architect and urban planner, but at the same time, I have a master in humanitarian action. So I am in this nexus between development, humanitarian action, and peace. I have been working for UN Habitat, UN IOM, and at the same time, currently, and this is the way I found you, I work for ECHO as advisor for this new approach. This is the area-based approach, working with migration also. And I am just curious about to know about you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Amaya, and sharing your comprehensive experience. I think that if Capacity for Dev would be a person, then it would have similar experiences as you are having. So I think that you are at the right place, because there is a lot that you can contribute in Capacity for Dev platform.
I don't want to forget, because there are colleagues from Senegal. So I have been working in Senegal, in South Sudan, of course, all South America, and also in a lot of cities in Europe. Thanks.
Thank you very much for mentioning this. And indeed, Capacity for Dev also is about to launch new initiatives in terms of networking, because we understand that the networking among development professionals is really necessary for delivering the best possible outcomes of the different projects. So yes, thank you. And who wants to introduce themselves as a next to our community? Maybe Oriane? If I think that I didn't now pronounce the name well, but
Yes, hello. Sorry, it might be noisy around me. Nice to meet you. I'm Oriane. I'm working for VOPA Worldwide Consultants, and I'm implementing the EU-Korea Green Partnership Project. So I'm completely new to this ecosystem, and I want to, I'm happy to join and learn more about Capacity for Dev platform. So I'm relatively new, and I want to learn. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. So yes, Capacity4dev and this onboarding webinar is for newcomers. So if you feel like that you lack knowledge about what the platform is, you are at the right place because this is onboarding webinar. So we will be sharing more about its content and how you can leverage it to the fullest potential later in the stage, actually like just in a few minutes. So yes, thank you so much for introducing yourself. And who wants to introduce themselves the next? Maybe last person, and then we can jump ahead. And if not, then I would like to give a floor to Maria, because Maria is part of our team.
Hello, so I'm Maria. I'm responsible for the user support, basically the email that you send when you have questions. I'm the one on the other side, and I'm happy to answer to what I know and to look for answers when I don't know, because we have an extended team as well supporting us with the IT part. So it's very good to be here, and anytime that you need me, I shared the useful links in the chat, and that includes the help and support page and also the support mailbox. So feel free to write us anytime.
Yes, so anytime when you need help, it will be Maria who will be replying to you. And I see that in this call there is over 20 participants currently, and we don't have really a time to actually introduce everybody in this call. So then I would like to launch a poll so that everybody gets an opportunity to answer a few questions. So the first question that will be launched in this call is when you hear Capacity4dev, what's the word that comes to your mind? Just I understand that some of you are coming for the first time. You, for example, don't know what Capacity4dev is, but there is a reason maybe why you are coming to this call. So if you can give us, for example, one word that comes into your mind when somebody said Capacity4dev. There were already a lot of words mentioning during the networking part about what the people are expecting from this onboarding webinar. So yes, and the second question is how did you learn about Capacity4dev? So this should be the next poll that and you can choose between European Commission channels, recommendation from a colleague or a friend, social media. If you, for example, if the poll didn't pop up, you can also just click on the cross and close the last question. So this is just for us to know how to navigate the webinar to the fullest potential. Also social media, internet search, etc. So I see that the most people are coming from the European Commission's channels, then and a recommendation from a colleague or a friend, and then also the internet search is quite trending. So that's amazing. Then the next question is: are you planning to open a space on Capacity4dev? If you don't know what the space is, then just you can click on no plans as of now. If you know that, because usually sometimes people are coming with the right expectation that they want to open their own community channel for the development professionals, so you can then just click on the exact spaces that you would like to launch. I see that quite some people they want to actually open a space. That's really interesting. So we already have a group project resource, but majority of the people put no plans as of now. And now the last question is, how do you plan to use Capacity4dev? So no, how frequently do you plan to use to visit Capacity4dev? Sorry. So now you can just click if you want to visit it, for example, weekly, daily, etc. And I see that mostly it's the weekly answer. All right, so then I think that we gathered a lots of answers from you. So now it's actually time for us to return it back and to share with you some of the knowledge on our side. So for those who came a bit later, welcome to our Capacity4dev onboarding webinar, where we will be covering the basics about the Capacity4dev. At the beginning, I would like you to introduce our team who is behind Capacity4dev, but there is also much more people behind not only these. These are mainly people with whom you might come across and you might come into the contact. So, for example, there is Ariela De Genaro, who is the coordinator at the DG International Partnership at the European Commission. Then there is a Claudia, who is a content coordination expert. After there is a Dimitri, who is the communication expert. And then you already know me and Maria, who is then providing you the support. There is also the ERAS. So sometimes when there is some technical question, technical query, you might, for example, come across the ticketing. So this is on the ERAS side. And then we also have in-house the IT, R5, who is then providing all of the backend support. So this is just a bit about us. And now what we will be covering during this webinar. So first we will be sharing what is Capacity4dev. Then we will dive deeper into who can use the platform. After, we will reveal some of the features and functions that are available for you, and also how you can benefit from being a user, because we could hear during the networking that there are really coming people from our community from the different backgrounds. So it's really important to mention the benefits for you as a being a user. Then we will also tackle a bit about the login. So in case that you have some issues with the login or registration, we will also provide you an immediate support here in this call. And then how you can actually use the platform. So this will be tackled by virtual tour, because I believe that the learning is the best by practice and not by theory. And then at the end, you will also have a space to ask any question by unmuting yourself in the real time, or in case that when I'm speaking and there is something that it's not really clear, you can use the chat, because there is Maria who will answer all of your queries in the chat in case that something is not clear about the topic that I am just mentioning. So, what is the Capacity4dev? So, Capacity4dev is a DG International Partnerships online knowledge platform, which it was launched in 2009 by European Commission. It has a leading position on knowledge sharing in the field of external relations. It's also a community of development professionals. So, we could already see who is the community, because it was you at the beginning of this webinar who is behind the whole platform, and who are the contributors of Capacity4dev. Just something to mention briefly is migration of the platform. So maybe in this call there might be people who are already with us for some time and they need refreshment of the knowledge. So we had a migration of our platform in May 2023. So this is mainly why you can see that our platform has a slightly different design, or maybe a bit more than slightly, and also how the different features and functions work. So this is because we migrated our platform last year, and our platform already exists since 2009, so it really much deserved this migration. So when you ask me or Maria or anyone from our team, what do we do? So in a nutshell, we connect, we collaborate, we exchange, and we do it worldwide. So we connect development professionals like you. like the consultants, like the people from the European Commission or from any other RELX family collaborators. We also foster collaborations among you. So it can be, for example, the webinar like this, or we also have other activities that I will be speaking about a bit later. Then we facilitate the exchange of expertise among you, and then we do it around the world. So we could hear that people are connecting really from the different parts of the world, so it's not limited to the European Union. So who can use Capacity4dev? Capacity4dev is used by our community, and on average, we have 300 new members requests per month. I say a members request because all of the members, they need to come through the validation. So the validation is a process that we usually see if that exact person can benefit from our community. This is usually done by the data that you provided us at the beginning of the registration. So, for example, in which sector you are working, in which company, position, etc., so that we know that you are not spammer. It's not that we would not, for example, avoid somebody from filmmaking industry to actually contribute from Capacity4dev. But we are rather seeking, for example, for the spammers or other members that might not be committing the good cause to our community. So around 300 new members are registering per month. So it's quite lots of people who are coming to our platform and who consist of the community. A part of those who already speak up at the beginning during the networking, there is the European institutions, which is part of the RELX family. For example, the European External Action Service, FPI, DG NEAR, DG INPA, and also many others. Then we have the governments, also the European delegations, international organizations such as GIZ and others, then also NGO, civil society, academia, of course. You would be maybe surprised, but Capacity4dev is very used also by the professors and the students. So we sometimes receive queries from the master thesis student who is writing and seeking, for example, some help from the different sectors. And the last but not the least is, of course, private sector, such as consultants, experts, etc. So what is the added value of Capacity4dev? You might ask, like, Marie, why should I actually use Capacity4dev? Nowadays, we have like social media, like LinkedIn, etc. Do I have to really add one more platform to all of my portfolio? So what is the added value of Capacity4dev? So Capacity4dev is the only collaborative platform where all RELX family members interact with equal access in the different environments. So it means that there are also different institutions. This is also where we see the biggest barrier and also the fill the gap is that different institutions or different organizations, they actually use different sorts of communication. So, for example, European delegations, they use rather Zoom for the communication with the colleagues, whereas Commission is using Teams. And Capacity4dev is the only platform where all of these institutions and organizations can find the collaborative platform and interact in the different environments. It means public, restricted, or private. So I will be also mentioning the difference between these three a bit later during our virtual tour. So if you don't know the difference, then don't worry, because we will be speaking about it. It's also hosted within the EU institution in a secure IT environment. So it's really in the house of the European Commission, and it's also where all of the developments are happening, and also other technical queries that you might have, where we are also sending it then. It's a community created platform. So from 80%, it's community created. This is created by you. So all of the content that you can find on Capacity4dev is actually created by the experts, by consultants, by the people from the European institutions. We don't do the double checking, we don't do the proofreading. It's really in the hands of you. We just do the security check each week about, for example, potential phishing, etc. if the community is healthy. However, it's really in the creation of you, of our community. So you can share your lessons learned and your experience, for example, from the field. I said at the beginning that it's 80%, and it's mainly because the 20% is created by our editorial team, so Claudia and Dimitri, who are actually writing articles, also producing for you podcasts, etc. We are also active on other social media channels, so you can follow us on X, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So just simply type Capacity4dev in the search bar and you will be able to find us really quickly. Then the last thing that might be interesting for you is that multilingual website is currently in process. So currently the website is only in English. However, soon it will be also translated into French and Spanish. So in case that your project or your community is speaking in other languages than just English, it will be really big added value for your community and for the communication with your project colleagues or even with your audience. So what features are available on the platform? In a nutshell, what can I actually do on Capacity4dev? So we have three different features, which is groups, projects, and resources. And then we also have articles, which is produced by the editorial team. So let me give you a bit of definition. What is the difference between these three features? So the first is groups. So groups is usually these are the spaces where you want to have interactions and collaborations with your targeted audience. So let's say that you work, for example, for the water sanitation project, and you want to establish a group where you will be collaborating with all of your audience. This means the people on your email list, this means your colleagues or any other stakeholders. And you invite them into your group, which can be public, restricted, or private. And then you can start the community management inside that your group. So you can, for example, launch discussions so that people can collaborate. People can also give you the feedback. People can also get your PowerPoint presentation. So it's a widely used, especially for the trainings, for example, or different events. So if you, for example, are conducting some events for your project, for your organization, then you can also collaborate with the audience, provide them with the necessary material for that training inside that exact group. And it fosters the interactivity on specific topics, geographic areas, or projects. So this means that you, at the beginning of your registration, you should choose the different topics or geographical areas that you are interested in. So let's say, for example, human rights, civil society, and let's say water sanitation I'm interested in. And then you can choose the geographical areas either by continent, by countries, or even you can choose worldwide in case that really your project is helping worldwide. I will then speak about how this algorithm work on our platform. Then we have a project. So project is something like a static page. I'm usually comparing it with a website. When somebody goes on your website, it's a static page where you are telling people about your knowledge, about your experiences, about your project. What is it about? Who is behind it? So this is also how the project works on Capacity4dev. You share and showcase what is new, ongoing, or past. So, for example, it can substitute your external website or even be a really nice addition to it. So, in this case, for example, not a lot of people they have a website building skills. You usually need somebody external who will program for your website. You need to pay hosting. It's quite time and cost consuming. In this case, you can open a project which is totally free on Capacity4dev. It has also really user-friendly interface, so you can just launch a project by filling out few mandatory fields, and you can start showcasing your project. And it's also lasting. It means that, let's say that you have a new EU-funded project which is starting in 1 month. So you can already prepare for it. You can already launch a project and actually mark it as not started yet. Then when it starts, so within 1 month, you just change it to ongoing. And let's say that this EU-funded project is for 4 years. So as of now, it would be until 2028. So then in 2028, what would happen with all of the knowledges and all of the lessons that you have recorded? You would just delete it? No. In this case, on a project in Capacity4dev, you can just mark it as completed. Therefore, people will know that this project is already completed, and these information would still be there on Capacity4dev available in case that somebody needs some more information about it. Then the third one is quite new. We just introduced this feature called Resource in May 2023 with the migration. Before the migration, resources were only the EU official resources, such as the Team Europe initiative, results and indicators, etc. But since last year, we have this new feature also available to our public, which means that you can create, share, and access a wide range of tools, key reference materials, and much more. When it comes to the groups and project, usually in a 99% of cases, we are validating successfully the project. So you can yourself just submit a proposal for project, group, or resource. And in case of the project and groups, we are usually in 99% of cases we are validating it with a green light, that it contributes to our community in some ways. However, in the resources, we are quite more careful because it's really similar to the project. So sometimes people they are either misleading it with materials, so that if they open a resource, they can just share the material with their colleagues. Which is not the true, because this is more horizontal, not thematic resource, which means that you are building something that other people can then use in their favor for their project. So this is really, you can take as an example the Team Europe initiative results and the indicators, but the resources are not materials that you can share with your colleagues. So in this case, we would refuse this submission. And it also needs to go through the different criterias that I will show you then in our help and support guidance in on Capacity4dev. And the last but not the least is also articles, which are not really the feature of the platform, but it's something that people are coming very often to Capacity4dev, and it's to read about the lessons learned, best practices, from professionals in the field, and also it's in collaboration with the DG International Partnership Units. So I will also show you where you can find these if you are interested in. So here, this is just a simple diagram. Don't worry, I will be also sending this presentation and also recording from this webinar. So in case that we are going too fast, or you want to, for example, use some of the materials from this presentation, we will be sharing it with you after this webinar. So this is just a diagram how you can make a decision in case that you would like to become a contributor to our community, not only the consumer, but if you would like to actually launch your own space, in this case, group, project, or resource. You can also see the different visibility criteria. So group can be public, restricted, or private. Project can be only public because it's something like external website. And resource, it's either public or restricted. And you can make a choice based on this diagram in case that in the future you would be thinking about launching one. So, okay, I think that I spoke quite for some time about the theory. So, I think that now it's a really good way to actually make a practice. Uh, hear that somebody is not muted, so I just muted. And while I am resharing my screen, I would like to answer, if you can answer two more questions so that we know where we are right now. So, first question is, how do you plan to use Capacity4dev? So, you can choose between the networking with professional, sharing knowledge and resources, or you can also choose more than just one. So, just if you can answer so that we know how you are planning to uh, to actually benefit from Capacity4dev. I already see that there is learning from existing content and sharing knowledge and resources, which is on the same kind of on the same. Now sharing knowledge and resources is the main one. So you want to mainly become a contributors. That's really interesting. I see Maria Elena is nodding. I don't know if, yeah. So then you can share also the second question, and it's what features of Capacity4dev do you value the most? So discussion and groups or libraries, networking opportunities, use horizontal resources. So you can just choose only one in this case. I see that people chose actually resources, so we can dive deeper into the Team Europe initiative, etc. Also, networking is quite answered. All right, so I see a lot of networking. That's good to know. So now let me share my screen. All right, so I think that most of you already know this beautiful platform called Capacity4dev. I'm now logged in on the platform, so you can see it here. I see my profile. I am logged in with my admin profile. So I have this banner which you don't usually see. So don't worry if you don't have it because this is normal. And I am currently logged in. Now, I would like to ask you, all of you, if you have some issues with, for example, login, with registration, that you are not able to log in into your profile and see your Capacity4dev like this, then if you can write into the chat login, so just a simple word, and Maria can then check with you in case that there are some issues. So you just write login like this that I wrote it now in the chat. And in case that you have some issues, just write this word and we will tackle it for you during this call. But let's get back to the platform. So here you have the personalized feed first. So when you log in, you can see here the latest community activities, but we are also calling it personalized feed. This means that usually during your registration, you had to choose different topics and countries of your interest. So, for example, human rights, civil society, and you do it worldwide or only in Senegal, etc. And based on these interests, you will also receive the different outcomes on this page. It means that, for example, you will receive the updates about the users, about the groups suggested for you. So you can just simply then request a membership, or you can look at the space. You can also see who currently joined the platform, what are the projects suggested for you, what are the events suggested for you in case that you are looking for more collaboration and networking. And at the top, you always have a featured. The featured article is our editorial team who is featuring it and is based on their own production. So currently we are also having a podcast series, so you can learn more about the financing not linked to cost approach. So in case that you are interested in and you are on your way to work and you know that you don't have a lots of time to actually read, then you can just listen to this in your car or during your commuting. Here on the sidebar, you can see my interest update since last month. So this is just for you about the different updates. So what the community is currently speaking about and how the people are contributing and collaborating. Then there is a new feature since the migration and it's following. So it's something that you might be familiar with from LinkedIn, where you want to follow the different people. And here on the sidebar, you can directly see who you follow, who are your followers. And the last, there is suggestions who you might be interested in following. So this is the personalized feed, the first homepage. So every time when you click on homepage and you are logged in, you will find this personalized feed where you can find the newest content. Then the next to the home, there is a topics. So topics is what I spoke about a lot, what you are filling out during your registration and how you can find actually the different materials which is related to your exact sector. So let's say I spoke about a lot, for example, about civil society. So let's use the civil society. And you can see then the civil society topic opens and I can, for example, see here what is the newest article from the editorial team featured regarding the civil society. But when you scroll down, you can also see the latest activities. So, for example, events, videos, or even projects, etc. And then you can navigate here in the navigation bar towards the exact content that you look for. So are you interested to collaborate inside the groups on the topic of civil society? Then here you can find all of the groups related to the civil society or projects. Library items such as PowerPoint presentations, etc., and also many others. When it comes to the topics, we are receiving a lot of questions from our users, like why we are actually using the topics, why we don't simply use the SDGs, because all of the development professionals, they are used to the SDGs. And the answer is that the Capacity4dev is the European Commission platform, and the topics are reflecting its units. So this is how we have structured Capacity4dev, but we understand that the SDGs are also very important. Therefore, in case that you might be confused by our topics, you can here choose the different SDGs that you are interested in. So, for example, climate action. And in this case, you will receive topics that are tackling the SDG number 13. Or you can also search by keywords. This is also available for you. The next one is countries. So it's the similar kind of logic. You just find the country of your interest. So in this case, we have this beautiful interactive map where you can just find the country that you are interested in. So you just click on the different country and you can see, for example, how many groups are open on this country, how many projects, discussions, library items, etc. And then you can also go to the country. So in this case, you can see it looks very similar to the topic. So again, you have here the latest activities, you have the Team Europe initiatives and joint programming information, but also the navigation bar where you can find the exact content that you look for. Next to the countries, there are articles. Articles are produced by our editorial team. Therefore, you can find here the different podcasts or any kind of content in collaboration, for example, with the units, etc. Again, you will find here the featured, but then all of the results are also available here. So you can also filter by the topics, SDGs, countries, article types, or even sorted by relevance, number of views, and much more. In case that you, for example, are interested in the topic that was tackled by our editorial team, you can also follow it. So, for example, you would receive the notification in case that people are commenting on that exact topic. So here, when you scroll down, you have the comments. You can also bookmark it if you want to read it later and you like it. You can also like it, which will make our editorial team very happy. So do so. And then you can also comment it, which will bring you down. And you can also share it on Capacity4dev, on the different external platforms, but also on Capacity4dev. So here, if you click on share and then on LinkedIn, Facebook, email, you will simply send the link to your colleagues and to other people who might be interested in it. But you can also see here a button called Capacity4dev. This is when you are part of the different groups and of the different groups, or if you are the space manager of a group, project, or resource, you can then reshare it. So when I clicked on Capacity4dev, you can see that the location sidebar opened for me. So I can now, for example, send it to the different groups that I'm part of, and I can write some post about it, like hello guys, I just found this really interesting article and I think that it might be a really good contribution to our topic of our group. So this is just in a nutshell about the interface. Then we have the resources. If you remember well, resources is one of the three main features alongside the groups and projects. So when you click here in the resources, you will find mainly the key EU official resources, such as the results and indicators, Team Europe initiative, Working Better Together, and many others. If you scroll down, then you will find the recent resources, and this here you can also create your own resource. If you now hover over the browse content, you can see that here are also resources. And no, it's not a mistake, it's not a bug, it's actually on the purpose. So here, the logic is that the resource on this navigation bar is the EU official resources. However, if you go to the resources here in the browse content, you will find a list of the different resources, also those that are published by our community. So not only the EU official one. So this is the main difference. Then we will stay here in the hover over the browse content, and we will go to the groups. We said that the groups are interactive, so it's the place where you want to interact, provide the feedback, or collaborate with the different people. So you can also filter the different needs of yours. You can sort. Here you have the button to create the group. And let me go to the first one, which is the job opportunities that I spoke about. That is the new initiative where you can find the new job opportunities in the development professional for the development professionals. So here usually you will find an overview, the description, the who are the owners, the administrators, the topics, countries, etc. Then if you go to the info, you will find for example, in this case, we have here the rules, but usually it's a static pages where you can also have the table of contents. You can click, you can have the subtopics, subcategories, etc. Then there is a discussion. So this is usually where the people are collaborating. In this case, we are using it for the job posting. So anybody who is a member of the job opportunity group, maybe we can also send in the chat a link to the job opportunities group so that you have the direct access to it. And here you can find how many members are there. And if you are a member of the job opportunity group, then you can also launch your own discussion. So let's say that your project is hiring for some position. So then you can post also your job opening. How to do so? You click here on the post content, and then you click on start discussion. Other than this, this is how you actually post and contribute to Capacity4dev. So here you find a library items. You can choose between the photos, videos, etc. Start the discussion, create an event. So if you want to let our community know that there is some exciting event happening. And the last is create a news. So this is mainly for the project. Projects are working with the news. So what is new about the different projects? In this case, we want to post a job opening. So we click on start a discussion. It will immediately ask us in which group of ours we want to post it. So I click on job opportunities group. And here we will choose between, okay, I want, for example, have information because it's a job opening, so it will be information. Then we can choose the title, some kind of content about the job position. Then we select topics and countries that we are interested in receiving the application. And then we simply click on post content. So this is how simple it is to contribute on Capacity4dev. You can also, again, you have all of the features and functions available, such as sharing, liking, bookmarking, following, etc. And here, when you click on the members, you will find the result of all of the members with whom you can get into the contact. So if the people approved us, so during the registration, you could approve that the people can contact you on Capacity4dev. It's not automatic and you need to allow it yourself, and I will show you where to do it. But if the people have this kind of button here, then you can write them a message and then they will receive a message in the chat. This is also very interesting, for example, here, when you click on the members, this is actually all of the members of our community. So you will find here all of the members of Capacity4dev. And here you can use also the filter to filter people with whom you would like to collaborate, for example. So type of organization, the countries of interest, etc. And then you can collaborate or follow these people. So what these people, for example, are interested in on our platform. But let's get back to the features. So we said that groups are interactive, but projects are the static pages. So you can find them here. And again, you can use the filter. But when you click on some of them, this is how they look like. It's very similar to the group. However, here you have slightly different navigation bar. It's also many people, they choose sometimes to open their project because they have more freedom of making their buttons customizable. This is not the case in terms of groups. In terms of groups, you cannot change the topics that are available here, but in a project you can do so. So this is more customizable. So you can find, for example, here the different members if they want to showcase that, etc. You will again find really the basic information about that project, etc. And if you are interested in creating one, here is the button you are looking for. And then we have, of course, the search for the discussion. So you can find all of the global discussions on our platform, then the library, articles, and also the events. So if you want to search across the whole platform regarding the event that you might be interested in, this is the place to do so. So now let's go to my profile. So when I am here and I click when I click on my profile here on the top, I can choose here my profile. So here we can find our overview. So you can definitely change your bio. For example, I really encourage our users to work on their profile because this is what increases your credibility. So here you have the main information about your interests. You can also include your LinkedIn profile, but you can also put your bio here. Here you will also find the groups that you are admin or owner of. Then you have here the spaces. So these are the spaces that you are member of. Then you can find here your discussions. You can also organize your followings. So the articles, etc., that you follow, and you can then unfollow it if it bothers you. In terms of the notifications, you can find here all of your library items. So it's something like a repository of the different materials. Then the bookmarks, what you want to read later. also your network. So here you can manage the people who you follow, who are you following, who are your followers, etc. And here, when you click on the messages, this is actually the chat function. So it really looks like as a chat. And the last but not least is the stats. So here you can find your own statistics, how many discussions you have posted, events, etc. If you want to change the messaging, so if you want to change how people, if you want to check if people can contact you, it's behind this button. So you click on my settings and you scroll down at the bottom, and there will be to check the box about the contacting our user base, etc. I cannot click on it right now because I am logged in with my site administrator profile. Therefore, it doesn't reflect the reality how you have it yourself. But if you want to check your bio information about you, then you click here on my settings. All right. So I think that I spoke quite for some time, and it could be quite overwhelming in terms of the information. And now I would like to give floor actually to you to ask any question that you might have regarding the capacity for dev. That, for example, I just run fast over it, or I was not really clear about it. I see that the chat is quite running. Maybe I will ask Maria if there is some question from the chat that we should clarify in the real speaking.
Mhm. No, it would be good. Perhaps you can complement what I've shared as well. We have some question from Eric about for how long are resources shared on the Capacity for Dev platform kept unless requested to be removed.
Mhm. Yes, so they are usually lasting. So until that we will also introduce soon a policy which will be the purging users that actually didn't, for example, that were not active for more than 2 years, but this is now in a pipeline. So then I would encourage you to actually be active, and therefore you can manage your resources, your materials. So it's usually lasting. So it's on capacity for dev until you will not delete it because you are the owner of your own content. So I hope that this answers your question. In case that, for example, you leave your organization and we would introduce this policy of purging users that are not active, then it would end up with a former capacity for dev user. So this is how it's currently in the architecture. But you can anytime write us. For example, I was the former owner of this material. Can you please remove it? So you can remove it yourself if you are still owner of that material. On Capacity for Dev, there is a delete button everywhere. But in case that this would happen and it would be the scenario, you can also anytime write us into support@capacityfordev.eu, and we would then tackle it. I see that there is a question from Lorraine.
Yes, thank you. I have two questions actually. My first question is, I'm the administrator of a project page that is FPI in a green project in Korea, which is a developed country, and I see that most of the projects or resources are a lot related to development projects. So I wanted to know a little bit about the plan to expand to FPI or maybe other kind of projects. That's my first question. And my second question would be for communication professionals. So you say that you want to develop your resource database. So I wanted to know if there's any plan to have some kind of maybe image or iconography database that could be used by communication professionals around the world.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. And this is a really good question. So we have our communication officer. I don't know if Dimitri is here in this call. I don't see him here, but then I would actually navigate you towards him after this call. So if you can just write an email to our support mailbox. That I provided in the chat, and maybe write your questions into our mailbox, and we can then forward it to the right people regarding your queries, because I think that he will be really excited about sharing the different infographics, etc. Like usually the com people are. So, so yes. Any other question that you might be having? Also regarding the communication, there is also a communication strategy that is developed by our editorial team. So in this case, if you also write him, he can include you in to our communication strategy. We are highlighting the community items. We are highlighting also different content on our social media. We are doing promotions and all of the campaigns, etc. So this is also possible. So, any last question that you might have regarding Capacity4dev, its features, functions, what is it, something that was not clear? And if not, I see that it's already at noon, and I would like you to just rate the Capacity4dev. So, how likely would you recommend Capacity4dev to your peers or colleagues? So, if you can rate by the stars, either unlikely that you would actually recommend it to your colleagues, then put 1 star. If likely, then put 5 stars. This would really help us to know how to facilitate the most Capacity4dev. I see that there are quite nice ratings right now. So thank you very much for that. And then the last question is, did you find this webinar helpful to better understand how to navigate in Capacity4dev? So, did it actually help to you, other than, for example, having the page on Capacity4dev, etc.? Was it helpful? Was it useful? So you can rate how useful this webinar was for you to understand what Capacity4dev is and how to navigate it. I also forgot to mention during our webinar that there is a help and support guidance in the footer. I will just put quickly the link in the chat in case that you would need some more information about the different features, functions, etc. And thank you very much for your collaboration, for your active participation. And I hope to see you next time, either via the email communication or in the future webinars. So thank you very much, and have a nice rest of the day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.